Welcome to DM Talks, a podcast that promotes
well-being and assists healing.
Whether that be physically, mentally, or spiritually, ultimately, we just want to be seen in our entirety. And this podcast hopes to show listeners how multifaceted they are. We're all at the centre of our own universe, so why don't we do more to better our own existence?
Shall we try it again?
Yeah.
Third time lucky.
Okay. I'm just like kind of crying. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to DM Talks, a podcast that promotes
well-being and assists healing.
Did you say aim?
Yeah,
aim to promote well-being. Okay, cool. 3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to DM Talks, a podcast that aims to promote well-being and assist healing,
whether that be physically, mentally, or spiritually. Ultimately, we all want to see
in our entirety. And this podcast hopes to show listeners how multifaceted they are. We're all at the centre of our own universe, so why don't we do more to better our own existence?
Yeah.
That was beautiful. I've always wanted to do that with someone, and I'm so happy that
I've heard it got editing as well, like hundreds of times.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing about the edits, because like people just see the hey, how you doing, guys? Everyone see the fuck. I
will release it one day and start all the footage.
Oh my god. Okay, so at the end of the season, we definitely need to do like a compilation of bloopers, or like, because there's so many. I think in one episode I accidentally said penis instead of Venus, and like so many people have brought up to me. I am so excited to just like scan through the episode and see what other Freudian slips that I did. So
I sent one to you the other day. I don't know if it's like when you said we're in a pandemic, a whole lot of panoramic.
Yeah, no, but I like that one. Do you know why?
Keep saying panoramic.
Yeah, because there's so many. Like, we don't have to say pandemic. We can say panoramic. We can say panna cotta. I heard demographic the other day.
We're in a whole ass demographic.
And like,
do be like,
honestly, I think it's just Twitter is just,
a
screaming.
A
pancetta. Exactly. It's just a whole thing. It's a whole thing. And I feel like it's just funny now, isn't it? It's just all the different names that we can use to say pandemic. But I should introduce the show. Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah DM, and I am joined by two peoples that are greatly related to the show. I am so excited to be joined by, what do you call you? Would you say co-producers? Would you say?
I'd say co-producers.
Co-producers, yeah. So co-producers.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just really excited because normally they're behind camera and now they're in camera with me. So we're going to learn a lot. We're also going to just chat shit and just just see where we're all at. But I want to welcome Josh and Joe.
Yay, I get to do my own lower thirds thing. Fine. Oh, I wasn't that excited. It's not like something I've been waiting to do forever, but it's something that I will be doing.
Introduce yourself, Josh. Say, let the public know a little bit about yourself.
So, me and Joe studied the same course. Most people moved home last semester when everything cracked off. But, me and Sarah bubbled up a bit, and I've been helping sort of do the sort of tech support side of DM Talk. So, sort of we've both been... I'd say, we've sort of both been sort of, quite close, especially like developing the podcast and stuff. It's sort of been, a really exciting experience. And so like all the, Christmas special, I've been loading equipment into buses.
Loading equipment on bus, on transport, off transport, setting it up, packing it down. You've literally been doing everything, and we've really, really learned a lot over the past.
Not quite everything, because we're also joined by Joe.
Of course, not of course everything, because we're also joined by Joe. Please introduce yourself to the audience, Joe. Welcome.
Yeah, hello, audience. I am Joe, aka Joe Fish Swimming, aka Joey Sadass, aka
Ooh.
Joey Salads.
I'm sure I'll think. Yeah, I'll think of another one. I'm sure. I guess I sort of started like the good thing. I used to put out like music under it, like it was essentially like a record label for like a couple of years, and then sort of always wanted to branch out into like more just I guess media, like general media, whatever that means. And then I guess when I met Sarah, we sort of we'll talk about it more in a bit. But decided to branch out into like doing podcasts, and it's all been great since then.
Yeah,
It really
it's all
has.
been Joe Fish swimmingly.
Yes.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
Zing.
It's gone Joe Fish swimmingly. Sorry, that was a bad pun. That was a really bad pun.
I feel like the audience might not understand the pun. Why Joe Fish swimmingly?
Because he says Joe Fish Swimming is his Instagram account, so yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
Sorry, I thought it
Bad
was
pun.
It's
That's why I said bad pun.
Sorry.
That's why I said bad pun.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I just took a magnifying glass to the pun. Like, I'm so sorry. I think you guys were talking about like some inside joke that you guys know about uni and stuff. I'm like, go on, guys, tell the
I don't
audience.
even think Joe got it.
No, it's a cute story though, that name. Like the story behind that name is quite funny.
Tell us.
Because I guess it's what I put out music as, like a pseudonym.
Okay.
But because when I was like a toddler, I couldn't pronounce Joseph, like my actual name, Joseph. So I used to call myself Joe Fish. So I just couldn't pronounce Joseph.
Oh my
And
god,
so
I
it
love
always
that.
just sort of stuck as like a. It always sort of stuck as like a family nickname, like Joe Fish. So I just thought it was quite cute.
Oh my god, I love that. That's so sweet.
great. I
That's
didn't
really
know about
wholesome. And that, yeah, I feel like that is just such like. Well, no, you know what? Do you know what it is? It's a very sweet way to introduce the next segment.
The Divine.
Oh my god, this is amazing! I've got someone shouting it. All the voices I want to be shouted with. Yay! Josh, we need to do this more often.
Yeah.
Joe, come on. Like, this is loud.
We just turned into Guillaume Hawks and gang.
I know. Well, no, I should bring it to the first segment,
Your
which is the
hype
divine.
Come on stage shot. Next up is Sarah.
I would be like a ring girl with like,
Yeah.
hey guys, it's positive affirmations for everyone. Everyone's gonna feel great. But yeah, no, let me take it to the first segment of the podcast, and that's the divine. That's when we nominate something that has uplifted us, that has brought us joy, that has lifted our spirits. What would you like to nominate for the divine this week?
I would like to nominate. I know everyone's going to come boring for this. I would like to nominate the Humble Park because we've all needed somewhere to go in lockdown in 2020, and
in 2021,
like it's just kind of like somewhere to chill, somewhere to relax, somewhere that we sort of is for everyone.
Exactly.
Like from wherever you are, from whatever walk of life, this space is for you.
That's wholesome as hell.
So
That's super cute.
And yeah, it's also nice if you're a bit of a concrete jungle, which Manchester can feel like sometimes.
Completely.
Like, it's nice to sort of escape and get a bit of nature without necessarily having to travel, out into the, peaks or up to the lakes to get it. You can sort of on your doorstep have somewhere to go and just have a walk, chill.
No, that's completely true. What's your favourite park in Manchester?
My favourite. So I think. There was this place I never knew, like I didn't know for the 2 years I was living in Salford that even existed. And there's this bit called the Kersal Wetlands. And it's like you can sort of walk down these forests because I used to live in a very countryside area. I used to live in the Peak District. And literally going into this place feels like going back to the Peak District.
Aww.
It's this woodland path alongside the river. It's really rough and you sort of I took a couple of people down it the other day and they almost all slipped on their asses.
Oh no!
Except I didn't.
Well, of course you didn't because you knew the path. You knew your
I
part.
knew the path.
Oh, no, that's such a lovely nomination. What would you like to nominate for Divine, Joe?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I was thinking the same. Like, just sort of nature in general. I feel like I've sort of underappreciated, like, just even small spaces of nature. Like Josh was saying, within like a city until now, when it's like, what can you do? Oh, go on a walk, and you just finding new places. Like, especially because I've just moved. So I've been like, I've known this city for years because I grew up quite close. But even just going around, like finding new little like spaces, and I think like even I think going on a walk alone is so underrated. I think that's what I've discovered as well doing this. Like, just I think just to break up the day, just like spend some time thinking, walking around, seeing nature. It's just really like, I think it's just helped me a lot. Like in this obviously tough time for everyone, but I think that's really helped me a lot. Just sort of taking,
No, for sure.
yeah, just taking that time just to sort of, I guess, in a way, meditate on everything, and
Yeah.
it's just
I like
really helpful.
how you said meditate as well, because I don't think people realize that going for a walk is a form of meditation. And like, I think when people think of meditation, they think of like calm, like, humming and hawing, cross legs, sitting down, like finding like that place within to like, retreat to. But that's not necessarily true. Like, you can have movement meditation where you're literally like, I bring this up because walking in nature, you're literally around the earth, you're around like the mother, you're literally around the planet, and you're able to ground yourself because you're able to understand that you're a part of something on this planet. You might even walk past people. There are other people with their other perspectives of this planet, and I think going for a walk is so grounding. Like, I was spiraling a bit the other day, and then I went to go just sort of relax a little bit in Platfields, and it just made me feel so nice because I was there with my tarot cards. I was able to cleanse them. I was able to get some sunshine. But I was also able to like breathe, and I think that's what going for a walk does. It helps you to actually breathe. It helps you to sort of think and have, breathe from your belly, lets the shoulders go down and actually see what you're looking at, like going for walks in nature is just my favorite. Like, I really like going to Fletcher Moss, so I definitely recommend going there in Manchester. That's in East Didsbury, sorry. And they have a little botanical garden, which is quite cute.
Nice.
Yeah, I really like it there. Oh, actually, as well, I was saying a little bit about this in the DMC, but I guess it's linked to my. I think we guys actually went for a full home run. I think all of us are nominating nature this week.
Yeah,
I went for a really, really long bike ride the other day, Joe. I went to Failsworth and I cycled all the way there and all the way back. It might have been like 13 miles or something. We went through Denton, and then like some places that I remember I was cycling through is Levenshulme, Denton and Failsworth, and we were by Manchester City Stadium, and it's
I've cycled out there before.
Yeah, and like I was able to. Well, I was out of the house for a good like 5-6 hours, but that was a physical activity that could ground me. I was looking at different parts of nature, but also being able to sort of just relax and just like chill. Like, there's this really, really, really pretty park. And there's this really, really pretty bit of Denton Park where you can actually sit down next to the. I don't think it's called a river, but I think it's like, I don't know. There was just like really like there was
stream.
Like a stream, and oh my god, it was so beautiful. Like, I think I actually took a picture. I want to see if I can.
I want to do a second nomination of the Manchester Oxford Road cycle lane because there's a lot of crap biking infrastructure in Manchester, but that's not one of them. That's a good lane. Like, if you don't want to die, but you also want to cycle into the city centre, use that.
You know what? That's so true. I want to show you this picture. So that's where I was.
That literally reminds me of like home.
Oh wait, that's crazy. Sorry, this is not Denton. This is Ashton under
Lyme.
Underline. Sorry.
IKEA.
But it's just like, it was so pretty, and it's just like it was just such a nice time to chill, I don't know how I'm going to show you this picture.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, A lot of the time, I guess you can almost see it as sort of like a form of escapism, just like being in nature and just like getting away, like from the hustle and bustle or whatever.
Although I will say
I think
it's
as well what you were saying. Oh yeah, what you were saying before about like walking past people and being around people. I think that as sort of meditative and just nice as walks are, they have made me very, very hateful towards the general public. Just like I swear every time I walk past someone, I'm the one like stepping out into the road trying to get around them and like obviously stay 2 meters apart. It's like people just do not give a shit anymore.
Oh, that's true.
Like,
I think, you know what, that's quite funny that you brought it up because it's like, yeah, I'm happy that people are there to make me realise that I'm not alone, but will I hang around with them? No. I don't want to be around. Like, if anything, the past 6 months has actually made me realise how antisocial I've become. Like, I literally reshared this on Instagram today, which I think is crazy because I was thinking this morning. It's a tweet, not a tweet, it's a picture from Pink Cat Daily, you know, that person that I'm obsessed with. It says, I post online to talk to myself. So if you look at it, that's on you.
I like that. I like that energy. Yeah, every time I post something edgy or controversial on Instagram, I'm like, yeah, no, not for you. It's just so I can just angrily get this off my chest.
You're funny. See, the thing is, with me, I'm like, shit. Why can't I just ignore you in peace, man? Like, that's what I'm thinking. But I think like it's weird. I think people like. As multifaceted as we all are, but as annoying as we all could be, this panoramic has really shown us. Well, it's just shown us what's important, isn't it? It's like I think going through a walk has made me feel very grounded, and it's helped me sort of serve me on a personal, like intimate level. But let's say like when I'm going in circles, speaking to friends is helpful.
Yeah.
But then sometimes finding the effort to speak to a friend, like I don't know where it is. I don't know where that effort is. I'm searching. Oh, are they underneath my trackies that like I've been supposed to be put away? Like it's a lot.
I notice now I just don't call people like maybe the frequency that I did at the start of the pandemic. Like at the start of the pandemic, every day, new person, let's go for a walk, let's put you in my headphones, let's have a chat.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, I haven't spoken to anyone in like 3 months. And it's just like, I just think people are like, it's like, yeah, it's just kind of like, oh, I'll see you when I see you.
No, but it is. It really, really is. I think like... Well, actually, this might be a good place to take it into decoding the messes.
The next segment is decoding the messes. This is where we unpack something that we consider maths, whether that's on or offline. I can't remember what comes after that.
That's perfect. Yeah. Basically, you just said something about not being able to put in effort, like now compared to the start of the panoramic. Do you know why? I think that is. I think that's because we're in limbo. Yeah. I think that's because our coping mechanisms aren't helping us cope anymore. I think we are all creating our peace in a way that is a bit more, I don't know, like, I don't want to say intimate in the sense of like sensual or emotional, but intimate in the sense of like really self-serving. Like, I'm evaluating what are my like immediate needs.
Yeah.
And then I'm working from there. Like it's like, oh, I needed to do a podcast today. I needed to send some. I even was saying this to Josh. Like, I need to do a podcast today. I needed to send something in the post. Let me make sure those things are done. Like, I'm not even worrying about next week. I'm not even worrying about the other thing that I was supposed to do.
Yeah, the future has kind of closed in a lot for people. I think like. I don't see more than like maybe even a month in the future is like forever.
Yeah.
Now I'm just sort of moving forwards. Part of that's because I'm graduating and it's like I have no idea what's going to happen after that. So it's kind of just like looking into a dark void. So it's like I'm not even going to think. I'm stressing out Joe now.
To be honest.
But yeah, it's like, it's just kind of like staring into the dark void. I don't know if you can relate to that. But yeah, it's like...
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, anyway.
I'm sorry for the
thinking
way that
about
your
it.
face is drawn.
Yeah,
It's
before
like-
I get stressed out.
No, I understand that. Like, I mean, like, I remember when I was in third year and it felt like everything was just falling, but also I was flying. And then, like, there's so many milestones, but because everything is going so fucking quickly, you can't appreciate them. But because obviously we're in a panoramic, you can't appreciate a lot of them. So I wish you guys luck. You guys can get through this. Remember to say affirmations in the morning. Because they will help you. But like this, I guess like this limbo period, how have you been managing your own happiness like recently?
I think something that's I've been sort of meditating on recently is being more like sort of learning how to be alone in a sense, and sort of learning how to be sort of more comfortable just myself and not relying on, I guess, other people to help uplift myself or help uplift me, and sort of just taking it into my own hands. And especially like in the pandemic, it's hard, and I've just moved to like a flat on my own, whereas before I was living in my family house for a bit. So yeah, it's just been sort of a journey learning how to just be comfortable just alone, and just be myself, and just sort of, I guess, somewhat self-discovery, you could say.
I sort of discovered that as well, about not necessarily needing like now I'm just happy to go explore some place. I live near the city centre, and I've just discovered so many cool places. And it's like every day I've literally been walking there for like a few months now, like almost every day, and there's still streets I've not been down.
Hey.
And it's like literally so crazy how but it's like I used to, like when I was in first year, I'd be like, oh, I don't want to go like shopping unless someone else wants to come with me. And I just didn't want to do anything by myself.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm like, I'm going to go shopping. If anyone else wants to come shopping, they can come shopping. But it's like, I'm going to go anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like you can choose whether you want to come or not, but it's like not. It's like, no, I'm just happy to sort of, like, if I want to go for a walk, I mean, for a long time I didn't even have anyone to ask if I wanted to go for a walk. So it's like, well, it's like I'm just going to go and go do something and go see somewhere new. And then, if I like it, then I can always offer someone else to come, but I can always just go again if someone else doesn't want to come.
No, that's true. And I like that way of looking at things. You guys are both, it's like, you guys are both talking about independence, but in like different ways. I feel like Joe in a very introspective way, but also you in a very like you wanting to externalize that expression way, And I find it quite interesting because like I think we have to sit with ourselves all day. We have to be in our own bodies. We want to make it a pleasurable experience, and I think this pandemic, panoramic, panna cotta has made us just embark in simple pleasures, understand what feeds us and what nourishes us, and how we can sustain ourselves off that. I think one thing that I've been really looking into is just emotional intelligence. I'm a very energetic person, but I think with that, it means that my mood can be influenced easily. So, like, obviously, I'm the leader of my life. I'll create my mood, I'll create my joy. But let's say an altercation happens, whether I'm dealing with somebody or something that has like made me feel like a type of way. I want to learn how that can be sort of tackled in the present without me affecting my day. So I'm sure like you guys, this is just a really, really common example now. Like, when you wake up and you're chilling and then somewhere out of nowhere, depression just gets you and you're like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, I wasn't thinking about this. And then you start getting depressed and you get out of bed and then it's like, I have to go to do this day. And like that,
Mm.
let's say if it's 10 minutes or 15-minute time period, can ruin your next couple of hours. So I'm trying to like find ways of how to like clean my emotional intelligence in certain hours of the day. So like one thing that I'm doing is writing letters to myself. And like I'll write a letter in the morning and like I'll read it and it just sort of primes my brain or primes my focus into understanding that I'm choosing my own happiness or I'm choosing my peace today.
Yeah, I think for me, like I can have a lot of negative energy or a lot of like energy that goes into like worrying. Like at some point it's like, what's the point in putting all of this energy into this? How about I put some energy into actually trying to fix whatever situation is causing me like pain? So it's like, well, you know, for example, with like the graduating, trying to find, you know, where I want to live, what I want to do, it's like, okay, instead of putting that energy into just worrying about it, like that's not going to get me anywhere. So I'm going to put that energy into, you know, taking a course, you know, go on and do some color grading at DM Talks, you know, show what I can do. You know, it's like sort of all of that stuff, like just trying to put that like energy that's involved in sort of worrying into something productive that will sort of maybe help alleviate that situation.
Spin it into something positive.
Yeah, and even sometimes it's like not even necessarily just positive, just not, instead of dumping all that negative energy on myself, dump that negative energy into maybe forwarding myself in some way. Obviously it doesn't always work, but it can just be helpful sometimes to say, actually, here's a problem, and here's what I'm going to do about it. If I can't do anything about this problem, then what's the point in worrying about it?
Exactly. And I think worrying can just distract you. I mean, worrying is a form of procrastination. I haven't like, I don't know what episode I'll do this on or how this will materialize or become tangible, but there's literally studies that I need to provide information on about procrastination. Your mind is your worst enemy. Your mind will literally tell you about your ex from the fucking like year 8 school disco because of it doesn't want
one of them,
you
like,
to
3 a.m. thoughts.
Do you know what I mean? Because you don't want to focus on your goal. Like when I tell you your mind is an op, your mind is an op. And like I'm hoping that with this information or with these studies that I learn or review, whatever, I can just tell people about them so they realize that they're not alone. Like procrastination can be found in rumination. So I guess like the importance of self-discovery or the importance of like interrogating your thoughts or finding the validity of your thoughts can like promote what action you're going to take.
Yeah, so I actually have something to admit to.
Okay.
When I was in primary school, I was around at someone's house.
Yeah.
And I accidentally broke their Playmobil crane. And Sam, if you're out there, shit. I will pay to get your Playmobil crane fixed. I'll pay to replace your Playmobil crane. I'm very sorry. I just had to get that off my chest. Like, I didn't break it fully, but the motor was just like not having it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We just had a confession.
That's confession.
Positive steps you were just talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
wow.
I was more doing it as like the rumination.
Yeah.
I've not forgotten about that since the day that I did it.
Yeah, that's quite funny. Like, honestly, rumination will get me so fucked up. I'll be like getting all over myself, and then I'll be there. I'll have like divine intervention comes to me, and I'm like, yeah, but you're a bad bitch. You're a baddie who doesn't need this, because just imagine if all this effort, all this time, and all this attention that you put into this, if you put it into that, and it could make you something, then you wouldn't be depressed. And then I just get up and then I start moving. But getting to that cycle or getting to those thoughts is still far between, you know? So I find it really, I always like asking people, especially during this time period, how are they looking for their happiness? How are they looking for their peace? How they're creating like their balance? Because it's going to look different to everyone.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, this episode, I mean, I guess because, we initially came on to talk about, like, sort of our experience of doing DM Talk during this time.
I've got some questions for you in a bit.
Ooh, yeah. But I think, as well, it's sort of worth reflecting on what it's been like as a general sort of time for us. And also, I think one thing that's worth knowing is it's kind of shit at the moment, but there's pretty much nowhere where everything's okay and everyone's fine.
Exactly.
Like, it's like maybe New Zealand.
Maybe.
It's like 3 people live there and they're outnumbered by the number of sheep. And it's like, so it's a very small amount of the world's population that's actually not completely screwed right now. So, you know, it's just sometimes worth
I don't know if
remembering
that's made me
that.
feel better or worse, to be honest.
Josh, honestly, you made me laugh a lot. But no, let me ask you guys more about sort of DM talks, our journey, what we've learned. I should probably start about our foundation story as well, Joe. Would you like to say it, or should I?
Yeah.
I feel like you should.
Yeah, no, I've been wanting to talk about this. So, I guess like the first time we met, I think I'd like my partner at the time. You met in university, I think, right?
Yes. We met at university. We were like, we were near. We weren't even in the same halls. I don't even know how I met as well. Sorry, I just said her name out loud. I'm gonna cancel that. I did that.
I'm sure she wouldn't mind.
We can bleep it.
Okay.
What was it? Yeah. So, and I think she told me about you and that you had the idea of starting a podcast, and obviously, she knew that I was like a audio person. Feels weird calling myself an engineer.
Audio.
Yeah, I call you a sound engineer.
She was. Yeah. I mean, it worked. She was having a like a housewarming party because she just moved into a
Hashtag cancelled party. I'm kidding. It was before COVID.
And I remember like because I remember you turned up quite late, but obviously I'd been there for a couple hours and I was like for whatever reason I was in like a really bad mood. And I was like, "Oh fuck this! I'm just gonna go like lie down for a bit." So I was in her bedroom, and I was like literally like unlacing my boots, and you came in, and just like your energy was just like so positive, and like just it completely changed my mood. I was like we talked for a couple of minutes and like said hello, and you left, and like when you left, I was like lacing my boots back up. I was like, "Oh yeah, I feel good now, man."
Oh my god, Joe, stop! I'm crying.
That's
stop
crazy.
It.
I didn't know this part of the story.
I'm gonna.
To me.
Oh my god, let me just not interrupt. I'm getting emotional. Stop. Go on.
Yeah, and then I guess we talked for a while at the party just about like that you had this idea for a show, and I mean the whole time we were talking, I was just thinking like you're like would be like a perfect host, just like your energy and the way you just talk about things that you find passionate. It's just I was like, yeah, I'm totally down for this already. Like, and then I spoke to Josh and. Shout out Ferg, the other member of Good Media.
Shout out Ferg.
Unfortunately.
Thumbnails, all of them thumbnails, every single one. Fergal.
Yeah, beautiful graphic design. Yeah, and I guess that's when I talked to those two and told them about you and the idea for the show, and we decided, yeah, let's try it out, see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, since then it's just been, uphill. I think we've really like found a groove that we're in now, and yeah, I honestly love doing the show. Yeah.
Oh no, that's honestly like that's warmed my heart so much. No, you said sorry. I just want to take it back to the party because I didn't remember because like we had met and we were talking, right? And there was this. I talked to you and I was like, okay, so I've got a podcast and this is going to be it. These are the segments. These are the titles. And I was just talking so fast. And I remember you being like, oh, I knew that like you wanted a podcast, but I didn't know you were this prepared. Let's go. Because I honestly, if you told me to record next week, I would have.
I remember that conversation. You were like rattling off like all the segments and exactly what they were going to be. And like you had already had ideas for like different episode themes and guests you were going to have. I was like, oh shit, like she really means it. Like, this is great. You're the
No, I honestly like it. Just shows you that manifestation works, and it shows you the power of like being surrounded by like-minded individuals. Because I had a project, obviously, like I had an idea, and with your guys' like guidance, encouragement, and advice, it's really just expanded and grown to like this. It's grown into a brand. It's grown into so much more than what I first started off with. So I really, really appreciate like what I've learned from you guys. Like, oh my god!
I'd like to say though, like, I mean, ultimately, like the show has really solid foundations. Like the segments, like I wouldn't have been able to. Like, I don't think I've been able to do any better job of creating the sort of like the divine to introduce it, decoding the masses. Tarot talks. The final message,
direct
message, crap.
Don't you worry, Joe.
Yeah,
he doesn't know it that well. Oh, no.
I didn't know the direct message. I forgot. I always forget about the direct message.
It's the DM, y'all.
But it's like, I mean, the format of the show is great, and like, I guess it kind of shows as well, like, if you come with a plan, if you want something to happen, like, it's not even necessarily the universe will manifest it for you. It's like you'll manifest it for yourself because. If like you're excited about the idea, and it's like you're obviously excited about the idea, you just sort of mentioned it to Joe. I guess you didn't even know that you were sort of into audio.
No, that's it. I knew Joe was into audio. No, Joe's an audio person. But like, I knew that you were into audio, but I didn't know the extent of how much you knew, because like I'm here with a podcast and like, well, no, I'm here with like content or ideas of content, but I don't know how to branch this content out. I don't know the technical, I didn't know the technical sort of requirements to producing and formatting and releasing the content. So like, I just love it because you're able to sort of like, it's like two halves have come together to like uplift this project. And like I'm really, really fortunate as well, because I think I've been able to sort of like it's been such a healthy expansion, and I think you really see that in all the episodes, but I remember the first time we started off, we were in that sick ass studio, Bop, University of Salford, thanks to you guys. And then we went to recording from home, and then we got this set up, and like slowly and surely, like we've been thrown these different trials and tribulations, and we've overcome them, but we've also been able to manage them with such like professionalism, which I'm really proud of, because like, I mean, we're literally just testing this thing out. Like, we don't know what we're doing.
The setup changes very frequently. I mean, we literally have different microphones every week sometimes, which much to Joe's dismay. I know that XLR cable is. Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like today we've got two 258s, but usually we have. The most common mic is my £20 Tortec like XLR mic. It actually sounds decent.
Yeah, and like when I get the audio files over to mix and like the guest, it's just like on like the little iPhone cord headphone mic thing. It's just like, oh man, how the fuck am I gonna make this sound good?
Because
it's part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, we share the mixing sometimes. Because it's definitely been a chance for me to learn a little bit more about audio side of things as well. Because I remember before I started sending more of the files over to Joe, I was doing these mixers and sending them over, and it was kind of like, this is bad. But then by like the third or fourth time, I was starting to get a mix that sounded decent first try. So it was like, it was a learning sort of experience for me as well. Like, a chance to sort of dig up the old Pro Tools and start making like.
I think this is my my first time like sort of doing diving into sort of the businessy world of media as well, like sort of drafting up like business plans and contacting people for like sponsorships and stuff. So I think that's been a really, really useful skill, definitely from doing this show, that I don't know if I would have done otherwise, really. Yeah, I think we all are all like learning something from each other and from this experience. I think it just shows like what can happen when you like have an idea and you sort of surround yourself with like-minded people that that want to do the same things that you do. You're learning and sharing this experience, and it's been amazing so far.
Yeah, and I think it's been, I mean, like, it's sort of been a great opportunity, I think, because through our course, and especially during lockdown, we've missed a lot of the opportunities that we might have otherwise had to sort of, get practical and get hands-on. So DM Talks has sort of been like a consistent thing throughout that's allowed all of us to sort of learn and to get better, and to sort of improve our skills. And I think it's something worth considering, like whatever sort of industry you're in, it may feel like you can't, you're not in a position to create something. But even if you can't create, like, you might not be able to create like a massive Hollywood film. Like, can you create like a short film with your friends? Can you create like a podcast?
You can create a little thing on your iPhone.
Yeah.
Or, well, I'm not saying not everybody has an iPhone, obviously, but like, as in, like, oh, guys, do you listen to Steve Lacy? Do you know the artist, Steve Lacy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because he records everything on his iPhone, doesn't he? Yeah.
He is one of my favourite artists, and he literally recorded his first mixtape all on his iPhone. I'll show you his music afterwards, and you'd love him. Like, and it just shows you, like, if you have an idea and if you have a talent, your resources shouldn't limit you. Like, no, I say that loosely because obviously we live in a very, very, very like extreme polarity world.
Yeah.
So like resources are influential. However, if you have an idea, I hope the resources don't restrict you. I hope you can use what you have to create what you want, because I think if you worry too much about the material things, you sort of lose the fun of it.
Yeah, and I think it's like anyone now can tell any story that they want to. Like, I think, like, even if you end up animating frame by frame in MS Paint, like, you can create sort of any sort of visual idea that you have. You can sort of, there are tools out there that you can sort of create them. And it's like, yeah, it might not look, photorealistic, Hollywood level effects, but like anyone can sort of at least, like, I mean, for example, like what we're using, the tools that we're using, back in the day, about 20 years ago, news shows would have like had to bring out loads of equipment, like a van with like a satellite dish to send like the signal and go in, like, so they could just have that live feed from someone. And it's like,
now we all can do it on fucking Instagram, but you can do it on Instagram Live.
Yeah, Instagram Live,
that bloody van that we used to have, like, it's kind of mad.
And it's like, I mean, equipment can help make it look a little bit sleeker, but it should never sort of limit someone from, because, I mean, I remember when I first started playing around with making videos, I had this camera, and the video it recorded, well, I used to call it video. It was 12 frames a second. And it was like 480, it might have been 480p at most. And like, I don't want to say that like I was subbing it, because it's like everything was fine. Like, but it's like, and a couple of years later, I did get like a HD webcam to start like making sort of.
I'm just thinking of young Josh with the camera, like, oh,
But I think even something like that, like a little camera you were talking about, I think you could still make something if you sort of embrace the style of it. You could still make something really cool with that, like even now, like versus someone who has like a like a red cinema camera or something, but doesn't have anything interesting to tell with it. I think it's more about like the content behind it and the ideas behind it than the equipment itself. I think people get too caught up in like
I mean, I will say we have used some fancy equipment. DM Talks.
Honey.
We will say that. But like, it's like none of it was any use without anything to film.
True.
Like, there was nothing to record, like.
But that's when we were feeling fancy and bougie, And like, I mean, we put it on TV. Like, how would you use?
I just want to get my hands in like a big ass Sony camera.
But it's like some of that stuff though. Like, I mean, all of that equipment was just sitting there without like an idea, without something to film, without the content there. for, you know, our special that we did, like we had 20 grand's worth of equipment on that day.
Mad.
It was a lot. Like, I think there was, trying to think how many cameras I had.
I think it had to, like, I shit you not, like probably 4 or 5 cameras. But we were cooking, innit?
Yeah.
So, like, it had to be done. And I'm so happy that, like, we were able to have that opportunity because I mean, for someone who is on the other side of the camera, it was able to sort of bring me confidence and sort of make me sort of understand, like, what to expect if I was to present in another system or another like opportunity. Like, I have done presenting things before, but like it's been I don't know, it'll be like a one-time thing or it'll be like a collective message or something. But because of DM Talks, how I'm interviewing different guests every week, I'm able to sort of adapt to the camera and learn like how I'm best to be shown and what I want for the podcast. It helps me, like even watching you guys has helped me become a better producer because I'm able to see what I appreciate as content.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, you know, it's been a really entertaining experience to sort of, you know, just sort of learn, you know, sort of applying sometimes abstract skills or knowledge.
Oh my God, sorry.
Into like something real.
You just reminded me of, what episode was it? It was a part 1 and part 2 that you did the idea of the ghost.
Was it?
It was microaggressions. It was the microaggressions episode when you were like with Tasha Bailey, and it was your idea to be like, I think I had heard a sound. I heard a ghost, and it was like,
oh yeah, and you were like, wait, what is that sound?
And you just see like all these like lightning strikes on the visuals.
Oh
like,
yeah, I did that. That was funny.
But it's in moments of like that, it's like just little bits of humour that has been encouraged or excited by Josh, that has had such a good like appeal by the audience, has made, I don't know, just made like the podcast feel even better.
Yeah, Sarah will find like a goof that she wants to cut out, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not cutting that. Like, I'm leaving that in.
Or Josh will be like, oh yeah, Sarah, did you dirty in this promo? And I'm like, what do you mean? I'll watch the promo, and I'll be like, blah, 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 and then I'll hear a glitch sound, and then I'll start, and I'm like, no, it just makes it look wholesome. It makes it look more personal. It makes it look more like accessible to the
real,
viewer.
It's what people relate
exactly.
To.
Yeah, and it's like, and like the glitch thing as well. Like, you know, Sarah is also like, as much as we're involved in sometimes influencing what the topic is or what something is, like Sarah also influences the look of the show in a technical way, like the glitch thing.
Yeah,
that was your idea.
Yeah, so like even with like, I'll say this before, I'll say this again, but like I think personally, and this might relate to other people that have wanted to do a podcast, but they really criticize themselves on how they speak or what they've said or what words they've used or what words they haven't said, or there's this over-criticization on how information is being translated. So using a glitch sound, like, I just thought was good because it sort of prompts a new form of discussion, but also it makes things distinct. It makes it a bit clear and coherent where things were a bit wrong, where things are going right, but also it's like a reset button. That's how I saw the glitches. Because the amount of times I'll be talking or digressing, and then I'll be like, oh shit, glitch.
Yeah, and it helps because it's both an audio and a visual cue. It helps people see like when something like when we. It's like a new paragraph. It's like when you want to talk about something completely unrelated, that sound comes in.
No, but
it's meant to.
Honestly, it's great because it's adapted to the way that I talk. Because like, I'll talk about one thing and then I'll end up over here and I'll end up over here. As a podcast, who people want to listen to and hear its story, it's like, oh shit, like, how's that going to work? So, if you want to hear its stories, that's another form of Apple Library. That is not me. So, have a glitch, and then we can reset with me too.
Yeah, I think, like, it's been so, and trying to think, because there's a lot of things that I sort of wanted to mention.
I know, I had a few questions for you guys, so I might answer your questions.
Yeah.
So, what is something that you would... Oh wait, let me start again. This is where a glitch sound would be low. Okay, so like obviously, like I'm on the content side, but you guys are more on the technical side. What are the first obstacles you sort of learn on the technical side, and what would you advise other people who are starting their podcast based on the first question? Sorry, that was a really long-winded question.
That
You get
makes
what I
it,
mean?
yeah, I like that.
Did you hear me, Josh? I mean, Joe?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, sick.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to go first, or I'm happy to go?
Yeah, sure. I think what the sort of the biggest challenge. Well, I mean, literally the biggest challenge was for the first episode that me and Ferg had no idea how to use the radio studios that we were using. So I swear, like you and Leah were just sat there for like 45 minutes while we were just pushing buttons trying to figure out what was going on. But I think sort of the advice I would give is, I guess again, like what I was saying before, try not to worry too much about the technical side. Like if you don't have producers and people that know what they're doing, then obviously you need to, brush up and figure out, because the amount of times I've like listened to a new podcast and it's like the audio of it, you can tell is just someone like on their phone that's like on the other side of the room and it just sounds like really bad. And obviously that's going to, just turn off viewers. So I'd say advice wise, just sort of have a plan, have a really good solid plan of what you're going to do. Because the amount of people that like, oh, I'm going to start a podcast. What's it about? Oh, I'm just going to talk for a while. Have friends on. So, all right, yeah, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 of your friends will listen to that because they know you. But that you need to just start out with a really, really good plan, like you did, Sarah. Like know every detail of what you're trying to do, and yeah, try and surround yourself with people, like-minded people that want to help out and that want to help you realize your vision. And I think if you do that, then hopefully all good things will come. That'd be my advice. Yeah, just sort of really think about and plan before you start doing anything, because it'll really help you out in the future.
Yeah, I can't stress the importance of pre-production as a practice. It's like, pre-production varies sometimes. Sometimes you want to go free-flowing, sometimes you want to, but generally you've got to sort of be willing to realize that before you even pick up a camera or pick up a microphone, that's like not near the start of the process. Like the start of the process happens, way before you pick up the camera, pick up the microphone. And you've got to sort of like even people who vlog, like do the daily vlogs, like they say, oh, what activities are we going to do today? When do I want to film this? When do I want to edit this? When do I want to, they might think of a few jokes or a few gags that they're going to put in there before it even happens. Everything to some extent is sort of pre-planned, premeditated. So it's worth sort of going, do I want to bet some notes? Do I want to come up with an episode idea?
Yeah.
And you've got to, just sort of before you pick up the camera, just come with sort of something. And what else would I say? Sort of going off what Joe was saying about not worrying too much about the technical side. It's we've sort of developed our own look here.
That's
and we've created something that the studios were great. And they're a really fun sort of learning experience.
I felt so bougie. I can't me and Leah, we had match. Do you remember those drinks? Those drinks from Pret. We had matcha coconut rice milk drinks from Pret, and we walked into the studio like bad fucking bitches because we were just doing a podcast or whatever. It was hilarious.
I really want to go to Pret or something tonight just to treat myself.
Why not?
Yeah. But there's literally in Media City, there's literally only Pret or Boots, so you have no choice but to treat yourself. Although Boots is closed now. R.I.P. Boots.
Sorry, I feel like I interrupted you.
No, totally. But don't worry too much. If people like your content, you can, invest in like the studio and the equipment later, as long as it's like passable.
But if you like the content as well,
you have to like it.
You have to like your content. Like, I just thought I'd put a pause in that bit, just because it's like, I feel like you need to be happy, or you need to feel proud, or like you wouldn't put something out that you wouldn't be proud of, And like, every time, I think that's probably helped me, like having a different guest on, because I'm getting inspired by the conversation. It's new, it's entertaining, you're challenging me, I'm finding out new things, so I'm gonna like what I produce, So I definitely, what you just said, but also make it passionate.
Yeah, that's a massive thing if you want to be a creator.
I think people
online.
can tell as well when you're not passionate about something.
Oh, completely. Like, I think, but then saying that, you know what, it's so easy for me to say that, because if you meet, it doesn't matter if I'm podcasting or not, like, you can see like how energetic I am. I'm probably bouncing off the bloody walls if it wasn't, everybody was in lockdown, and like, it doesn't take, not everybody is as comfortable to being active. However, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't, and like, it just means that they should be a bit more patient with themselves, and just see what works, try it out. Like, you could even make a podcast and you could be the only one who listens to it.
Yeah, that's a massive thing, is like, make something where you're happy and no other person ever listens to it. Just enjoy the process and enjoy making it.
I've got another question for you guys. What's one thing that you wish you could have learned sooner?
I guess within like regards to DM talks, it would be sort of the like the businessy side behind like the media stuff, like like even the basic stuff like the distribution and the like strategies to help grow audiences, etc. Because I'd sort of dabbled a bit in that with sort of releasing music. But surprisingly, podcast is like a whole different world from that, because it is essentially like it's closer to a sort of TV show style format than it is like releasing music is. So stuff like sort of sponsorships and like do like the giveaways and sort of how it ties into social media. I think I definitely wish I'd learned sort of more social media strategies before going into this. But again, it's all part of the learning experience, and I'm glad I have learned, how to do this stuff at all. It would have been nice to sort of been an expert at it, obviously, before we started. But
sorry, like, in response to what you said, like, I like how we've been able to learn through this. It's like, when would have we learned this?
Yeah.
Especially like you just said that, and it just reminded me of all the giveaway stuff, because like, we are on Instagram, you can see everybody and their friend is doing an IG giveaway, but I don't know how the fuck to run an IG giveaway. So there's me on YouTube, reading articles and that, like, seeing what gets the best engagement, what doesn't. And like, I had a giveaway recently, and it, like, if it wasn't for the podcast and if it wasn't for us wanting to increase our following, I wouldn't have done one. And it's nice because I was able, in that moment, it's like I was able to talk to other independent businesses, collaborate with them, network. Do you want to come onto my podcast? I'll help you if you help me. And like, I like what you just said there, because it can make you think of other things and not just like what you first intentionally set out to do.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things is that it's like sometimes it's like knowing, you don't always know what lessons you need to learn before you start. Like, it's one of those things that can sort of only be brought with experience.
Yes.
It's like you can sometimes, to a certain extent, you can look at everything in theory and you can go, oh, so this is how this works. This is how this works. But then until you actually, get to the ground and start doing it, there's going to be a ton of things that you're completely unaware were even going to be a problem. Like, everything looks simple on paper, but everything is more complicated than reality. And I think that's a lesson that you can sort of take to everything in life. Like, there's not, like, whatever project you're doing, like setting up a business, you're like, okay, I can make these cakes, I can sell these cakes, easy. But then until you actually get involved in the process, you go, oh, making the right amount of cakes. How do I make sure that I make cakes, match demand? Like, how do I make sure to bake enough for one day and not?
I've watched enough episodes of Grand Designs to know that things can go real wrong real quick.
Yeah, so you're never going to learn what those things are until you start doing it.
Yeah.
Like, it's
So just do it.
sometimes you just got to do it. Like,
yeah.
I love you're wearing Nike as well. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No.
Pay us.
Just do it. Yeah.
Sorry, this is too much. This is too much. Oh.
Yeah, it's like the philosopher,
You wearing it as well? This is jokes.
It's like the Greek philosophers used to say: stand on the table and go, just do it. Yeah, it's, I think it was Archimedes or something who said that.
Jokes.
Back in BC times.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, guys. Like, I really, really, really liked your responses and just all of the information you gave me today. It's made me think that there's just so much more to sort of expand on DM Talks. I'm really excited for what the future holds. Yeah.
What the future holds.
So we're back.
Unfortunately, my hard drive ran out of space.
Yeah, Josh's hard drive ran out of space, so blame him for the glitch.
Yeah, blame
Like
my
that
laptop.
question from before about what you'd give advice, I'd say anyone starting a podcast, clear your hard drive.
Clear your hard drive.
Yeah,
Empty your hard drive.
because that's one thing that's going to be doing. You're going to be taking a lot of space. If you've got visuals too, videos are a myth. You're going to be taking a lot of space. Let me just tell you guys that now.
Yeah, videos.
Videos are a myth.
Oh man, I was like, what, like 2 terabytes so far. Don't just record in like the lowest possible quality. It'll be fine. Just like VGA, 4xp. It's all you need.
And that's our little snippet on technological glitches. But we'll go back to the tarot reading.
Behind the scenes.
Sorry, let's get back into the episode, back into the tarot talks. I asked for the next question, is there any blockages? And I just wanted to sort of surface any areas which are limiting us or stalling us or hindering us. We got the King of Cups in reverse. And when you look at court cards, they are an attitude that you need to adopt, a personality characteristic that can help you or harm you. And when you see the King of Cups, he is a master of his suit. He is an individual who's very compassionate, like a loving father figure. He's very nurturing. He's very understanding, and he's very reflective. However, when his cup is reversed, now he's spilt his contents of his cup. He might be finding other places to fill his cup, or he might be hoarding resources or being manipulative in behavior in result of being protective of the remainder of his cup. It's quite interesting because I immediately got taken to this image in the background. And that is the same, it's like a ship, right? But the ship is bright red and it's floating on the water, and it can talk about maybe, it could, like you said, danger coming, worry ahead, but it could also talk about how your passion can be sunk if there aren't ways of flowing with it. I only say this because the whole emphasis of water, especially after this Pisces energy of the Hanged Man, to let it go, to surrender, to let it be, that the King of Cups needs to flow with his emotions or they'll get the better of him. The individual, you can see how they've got two things in their hand, and it's like, here's my cup, here's my staff, here's my belief systems and my emotions, my heart. But then here's all the other things that I can share with the world. It's like, if I'm sitting in my cup of emotions, in this collective subconscious, and I'm refilling myself with tending to my own needs, but I'm also trying to tend to the needs of others. If that's not, if there's not a healthy balance found there, it can become quite confusing and it can become quite restricting. You might think that you have got too many things on your plate. You might be spreading yourself too thin. You might be getting yourself in other people's business. You might be wanting to save other people because you actually need to be saved. There's so many differences with the King of Cups. And I think in moments when they come up, it's a reminder to talk to people that support you, talk to people that can counsel you, support to people that can guide you through this upstream of your emotions, because it can be turbulent and it can be stormy and it can be uncomfortable. But because I see the King of Cups upside down for blockages, maybe it's like also we need to be the King of Cups more to ourselves. Maybe the King of Cups is asking us to step into our power of using discernment around emotional intelligence, or maybe it's to do with putting yourself out there more and actually embracing your heart and not being a shy king. I only say this because for the next card for advice, we got the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords, she's also a court card, which encourages you to adopt a characteristic to better your life. The Queen of Swords is straightforward, no shit talking. Like, she's either quite direct or blunt. She tries her best not to conflate honesty with cruelty. However, she's more concerned with getting her point across, and that's why you see her sort of just facing well, if you see these two king and queens, this king is sitting in front, they're open, they're seeing everything. But the queen is looking literally just to one side. And that means they are putting their focus, their attention, and their direction into what's being presented on them. It's like if they had an op, their eyes would know that the op's coming. It's like stay ready so you never have to get ready attitude. But because both the cards came out reversed this week, I think is talking about like internalized polarities, which can be that maybe it's just an introspective like measure we have to take on. Like, how can we be the King of Cups and the Queen of Swords in our own lives? How can we be more direct, more intentional? How can we translate our mind in a more proficient and proactive way to get what we want? And with the King of Cups, it's protecting and mastering your emotions to understand that emotions are temporary. However, also it's best to work with the flow of your emotions because you're able to just appreciate what's around you a bit more. What do you guys think of that so far?
Yeah, it's interesting to think about, like I guess sort of like, so sort of bringing it back to the Hanged Man again, it's sort of like trying to be comfortable within like the current situation and sort of be sort of content to an extent with like I guess sort of if we were to bring it in relation to what we're doing, like to be like, actually, you know, what we're doing right now is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, we've got like something good going, and there's not necessarily a reason to have to worry too much in the here and now about necessarily, because obviously, you know, I mean, it might be like spoiling some behind the scenes or future stuff, like, you know, obviously our time at uni is coming to an end. You're perhaps moving down south, and it's kind of like, okay, like we can think about all of these things, but actually we should say in the here and now, we're like doing a cool podcast. And I think in some respects we can work out the future later on.
Exactly. And you know what? Like, I left this card out for a reason. So I'll show you this one here. I was actually going to bring it up at the start of our episode because this is the Three of Pentacles, and the Three of Pentacles shows these. Wait, I'm going to show it upside down just for now. So you see how these guys are going up to this guy for counsel. It's talking about gaining advice, gaining expertise, gaining knowledge on someone that is from a higher. There's more expertise from you, so you can learn and develop your idea with them. I literally was manifesting this project, I was manifesting this podcast, and then I met Joe, who then introduced me into Ferg and Josh, who are now three individuals who knew more about production and audio than me, but together we were able to combine and be abstract and create and develop the project that is DM Talks. And this card came up reverse, so it's like a past energy that has been it's a past energy that has sort of moved throughout the card. It's like if this was my creative abstraction maybe last year, right? Because Pentacles is to do with Earth, so it's going to take more time to develop. Let's say meeting Joe was the seed of the intention or the seed of the idea, and the episodes are now the fruits. With that said, we are able to sort of manipulate, adapt, take what is tangible, work on what needs a bit more help, I think altogether it shows a very hopeful podcast. No, not hopeful podcast. It shows a very hopeful, promising relationship, but it's emphasizing on adopting these two personality characteristics to strengthen the advancement. Because I think the whole question at the start was how can we take this information or the experience of DM Talks to advance us in our career? And I think the Queen of Swords is in a sort of mental sort of how do I translate what's in my mind to you or to a group of people, whether it's my professionalism, whether it's my just my thoughts, my beliefs, my opinions. But you see the King of Cups, who is a master of their element, and they're hoping that their resources or their fuel is also being shared, because they really understand that double joy is shared joy, and that's their motivation. But they need to make sure their needs are being met too, because then they're helping others from an empty cup, and that's never going to lead into a good way. I just want to take another card. Spirit, high power, universe. Can I have a card to clarify this message? I'm currently using the Pink Cat tarot deck, which is one of my favourites.
One of my favourites.
Josh, or actually no, Joe, pick a number between 1 to 3.
Mm-hmm. 2.
Okay. Aha. Okay. So I got the Fool, I got the Devil. And the Fool stands for sort of being a bit more I don't want to say, it's like healthy risk. It's like healthy risk behaviors, right? It's like risk taking. It's like taking a leap of faith. That's the whole message behind the Fool. They're just going on with their life. They don't know what's going to arise in front of them, but they're still trying it anyway and hoping for the best. However, they need to make sure that their integrity, their intention is hardest, focused, because they understand that without putting sort of being intentional with their energy, they might get either distracted, distorted. I think that's why the Devil showed up, because normally the Devil sort of resonates to the pressures of the material world. Your ego, your finances, your do you know what I mean? Your addictive behaviors, your vices. And the thing is, with the Devil, it makes you really question your shadow and how that's being presented. However, when you get the devil reversed, it's like a liberation. It's like those vices are broken free. It's that whole sort of it's coming together with yourself. I think the Fool and the Devil reversed. I mean, both cards are reversed. There's this sort of sticky limbo period where the choice is literally in the querent's hand, in all of our hands, to sort of determine what timeline or what space we're going to enter to. But we need to move with calculated risk. We need to move with hope. We need to move with confidence because we have it in us. I think it's just being a bit more, being a bit more direct with how you show your confidence, making sure your needs are being met, letting it be in surrender to the sort of, not environment, but what's being presented to you, you know? I'm going to take another card from this one as well. Okay, can I have an affirmation to round up this message? Please, higher power, spirit guides, universe. Okay. Oh, it says every vibe eventually finds a tribe. I was like, oh God, I don't want to leave you guys. 33.
The tribe of DM talks.
To be fair, I hope I'm not projecting. You're going through a shift in environments. You are going through a shift and environments you were used to I can't speak, sorry. You are going through a shift and environments you were used to may no longer feel comfortable. Continue to grow in truth and eventually your soul family may find you. I keep on getting this. I keep on getting this about something else. I don't know if it's the same thing, but I'm just going to pull another card. Okay. It says, is this something you want or something you've been told you should want? Where there is love, there can be no fear. Either spirit is dragging all of us for not being intentional, or I think it sort of I think it sort of talks to being really specific on how you move with your world and your vision. Because if Pisces and the Hanged Man is an imaginative person who literally thinks outside the box, there needs to be a level of emotional mastery to be completely emotionally available in their projects, in their ideas. How they translate those emotions is going to need the Queen of Swords energy, because it's that integrity with your information. It's like, how am I going to communicate this to you? The Fool and the Devil show up to remind us to take a calculated risk, but to also free ourselves from self-doubt, free ourselves from is this something you want, or is this something you've been told you want? That's sort of the devil energy. I think we all have in our mind of, oh, what we need to do for this year, or how's it going to happen, what's going to happen. Even the question how, like, I don't fucking know. Like, we're trying our best, and I think that's what the podcast is encouraging you to do. I think as long as you are intentional with what brings you joy and how that can uplift you and how that can uplift the people around you, you're winning. And it's only going to get stronger, because if every vibe eventually finds their tribe, and we have been able to make so much and learn from much in this period, only things can get greater. Maybe there's more projects for you guys and for me as well in the future that might not need us all together in. However, it's saying that we can do it because we were able to do this.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to have the power, we're going to have the confidence, because it says here, where there's love, there's no fear. So, like, don't be scared. No, if you're scared of something, that's because you're scared of what it can be. Bam. Period. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So I think, not only for us, but post-corona, it's going to be a big time of change for a lot of people, because I think that people have maybe realised that they want different things in life, or people have been put in situations where the way they were living before is no longer possible. Sometimes those are good transformations, sometimes those are bad transformations, but I think that it's kind of going like, I mean, for us, obviously all three of us are in a time where we're looking at a lot of change. I think this year has already been full of a lot of change, but I think there's even more to come. And sometimes staring down the barrel of that can be a little daunting.
Especially because we're so young as well.
Yeah.
Like, I think people like it's like you all come help me after you're doing uni, and like I'll be there with my part-time job, like just trying to make ends meet to pay the bills, and then do this project on the side. And it's like we're all like working together, but we also have we're all working together, but we're also at different paces, and we're also at different places in our lives. So it's making sure that like we're just fulfilling ourselves constantly.
Yeah, and I think probably, I guess another part of the message is sort of like the full said, sort of having the confidence, like just almost being confident in the uncertainty.
Yeah.
And being confident that maybe what we've learned here is enough.
Yeah.
And that what we've learned here is enough to sort of bring us on to the next stage of where we go.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, because I just find it interesting how like during the time that I met you, during the time that I wanted to meet you, during the time that I was making a podcast or wanting to, and this is like pre-planning stages. This is like when I knew your partner Joe, but I didn't know your name. That's how like early like I'm talking about. I was getting through phone calls all the time. All the time. It was that whole idea, like, you've got to find your people, they're going to advance you, how can you take from them, can you adapt to them? 3 as a number is adaptive. It's like, it's creative, it's abstract, it can be manipulated. So, like, how can we manipulate this situation to raise all of our advancements?
Yeah, and I think it's like... Yeah, because, I mean, obviously this podcast, as we sort of move into the next stage, if I move down to London or the South, then I can come round. If not, then I'm already thinking of plans of how we're going to work it.
Yes.
So don't worry, like, I'm already working on that tech stuff and getting that all to work. But yeah, it's like sort of, I guess... you've already got, like, you've been talking to me about ideas that you want to do.
Yeah,
about,
I've got bare ideas, guys.
Things, like, people are going to bring on. I think it's like, it's being, like, confident in what we've learned here.
Yeah.
And that what we've learned here will bring us on to, will be enough.
Where there is love, there's no fear, and everybody loves what we've done. I mean, like we do. Yeah, we do, and that's the most important opinion.
That's all that matters.
Thanks, guys, for listening. Yeah. Oh my God, amazing, lovely. Oh, did you have anything that you'd like to add on the tarot reading, Joe?
I think you've hit exactly what I was thinking, to be honest. Just, I think a theme that's come up a lot during this whole episode is just like taking things that happen in stride and learning from them, and being able to adapt and motivate yourself to be able to do these things. I think that's a big sort of a theme, I think, that's definitely come through a lot during this whole discussion.
Yeah, and I think it's sort of like, because obviously, I mean, we're trying to cobble stuff together a bit here, because obviously we've not got access to the equipment that we once did, and it's like learning like, oh, I need to clear off my hard drive so Zencaster actually doesn't die. I like stuff like that. Like, it's learning a lot of those sort of things that, like there's a lot that we've all sort of learned being involved in the process. Yeah.
No, I've honestly learned so much. I'm so happy to have learned with you guys, and mate, I can't wait for our future. Like, I just can't wait to see, like, in 20 years where we all are.
Yeah.
You know? Like, that'll be sick. Amazing. It comes to our last segment, which is
the direct message.
There you go. I was testing you.
Yeah, whether I remember it.
Yeah, no, I was.
The thingy majig.
Amazing. So my direct message, I've got two. Whoever's listening to this, there's something creative on your mind, or there might be something creative in your mind. Try it out. Test it. See if you like it. See if you don't like it. Just have some fun with it. You know, like I don't want to say we've got all the time in our hands, because I feel like everybody else has said that on the podcast, especially me. But it's like, I wouldn't have known that I liked podcasting if I didn't listen to a podcast and I didn't want to try it out, you know? And now everybody here is listening to me, you know? And that it was an idea that was created in me because it sparked off something else. And I honestly think that can happen for anyone and everything. You just have to find it. So please try, and hopefully you can engage yourself and find something fun to do. Yeah, that's my direct message. I was going to give you two, but I think I'm going to leave you that.
I think my first one is I have an understanding for how Sarah feels doing this. So I don't want to look at a computer screen for 3 days now. I just want to
it's the lights, they fucking get you.
I just want to put like some cucumbers on my eyes and just sit in the and hear the wind.
Well, when we win our awards, we will after them.
When we get the studio in LA, which, probably got to set up Patreon to get that.
Of course.
That's kind of the plan. I think it's just like sometimes, like, I think one thing I've learned in this panoramic is that, like, sometimes you just got to do things. Like, we wanted to, because we did some like a couple good session things with like Joe's sort of Virgin Cola band project, and we had another band planned, and we had like, how many of us? Like 4 of us were going to do the tech stuff. We went to go see the band when they were playing the show.
It was like
really
exciting. Project for sure.
Yeah, it was like this massive project we had planned, and we set a date, and the date was about 2 months in the future, and in that 2 months everything changed.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, actually, should we have done that sooner? Should we have said, let's just do this as soon as possible, or like now, like, if I want to go into the city centre to just go and have a look round while I pick up my groceries for the week, it's like, I'll go there because I want to do it. Like, or if there's a project that I want to make, it's like, well, it's like anything can change at any moment. There's no point in waiting. Like, if you're able to do something now, just do it now.
Yeah.
Like, that actually, for a great example, I went to Canada to go see a friend in 2020.
Yeah.
In January.
Okay.
And I was like a little bit impatient with it. I was like, I want to go now. I want to do this now.
But
I want to go and see
the universe.
It's like, literally, if I hadn't gone and done that, then it was like I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah, and it would have been, or you would have done it, and then you would have been stranded in a country that you didn't know without the appropriate healthcare to help you in a global pandemic.
Well, to be fair, I mean, I wouldn't complain being stuck in Canada. It's like, that's fine by me, but still, like, I wouldn't have been able to fly out there in the first place.
Yeah.
In this case, and at least, I didn't have to do like a quarantine or get tests or anything. Back. It was fine at that point. It wasn't too spicy. It's like sometimes, like, you don't know necessarily what's around the corner. That doesn't mean like go crazy, sell all your possessions, go like run away.
Yeah.
But like, you know, if there's something you want to do and you've got the means to do it,
Yeah.
I wouldn't delay doing it.
Yeah.
I'd just do it.
You're right. I'm like writing all of this down, but it's just giving me like notes for later. Don't delay.
Don't delay. Buy today.
Literally me, like, you know when you put something in your shopping basket and then you're like 3 hours later and then it's gone and it's not your size and you're like, fuck.
You know those like biscuits that you can get from like Tesco's or Sano's?
Yeah.
Like those sort of boxes like of millionaire's shortbread and stuff.
I did not know that.
That shit's dangerous.
Oh my god.
Like that is like, it says like this is 4 servings and then it's like 1 serving later. It's gone.
This jokes. Oh my god, you're funny, Josh. What is your direct message, Joe?
Sorry, my mic's been a bit weird. I think my direct message and my old takeaway would be, you know, similar to what Josh was saying about doing things and sort of avoiding aversion, if that even makes sense, and just embracing things that happen. Because I think it's hard sometimes to realize that a lot of things aren't in your control. You know, obviously a big example being the whole situation that everyone is in now. And I think just taking a step back, recognizing things like that, and taking steps to help take that in stride and move towards what you want to do. You know, an example being with the lockdown having to stop recording the podcast, but then taking a step back, making a new plan and going with it. I think doing that right now, rather than just sort of thinking, oh, this has happened to me, I can't do anything to change it, oh well. And, you know, I guess sort of being in that state of limbo that you were talking about. So yeah, I think my direct message would just be to embrace everything that happens and just try and adapt and try and do exactly what you want with the cards you've been given. You know, no tarot pun intended, but yeah.
No, I love that. That was such a great direct message, and like that brings us to the end of our episode. Oh. How you guys felt? How was it being on the other end of recording? Well, on the other end of the viewing system.
I think it's going to be weird when I have to listen to it back. That's going to be the weirdest bit for me.
Yeah, I think I'm going to avoid listening to this one.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to sync it and mix the audio, so there's going to be that. But yeah, I mean,
well, I've enjoyed you guys, Scott.
Yeah, it has been fun. Like, I genuinely enjoyed chatting and nattering about stuff. Yeah. And I will definitely be sharing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a conversation, like just three. Yeah. Like we've had loads of times before.
But there are reasons why we're behind the camera, behind the mic, people. Sometimes it takes a level to break that barrier and sort of gain the confidence to do it.
Or does it take a DM baby?
It takes a DM baby.
No, I really enjoyed it. Like, I think you guys are both really funny and so smart, and I wish you all the best for third year. You know, like, I know it's a very stressful time, but you guys are going to smash it. Like, you helped me create this, so I know big things are coming for you. Big things are coming for you. But, yeah. Do you want to plug in your socials, Josh? And let listeners know where they can find you. And then afterwards, Joe can too.
So, obviously, we've got good _ media, the Instagram account. I have Josh's random photos on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, you got 2, don't you?
I have like 3 Instagrams. Got honestly ridiculous. Like, but yeah, I'm not massively active, but I have like stories where I post what I'm up to, you know, and I also have a website if you're interested in getting that media help and stuff. Handley.media. I'm really proud I managed to bag that domain. But yeah, pops those places.
No, honestly, that was great. And I'm with you every fucking week. Like, definitely recommend hitting up Josh. He's 1010. What is your socials, Joe?
My Instagram is just joefish_swimming. I think it might not be. But
We'll find out.
You know, if you want to just see loads of weird shit that I find on the internet, that's pretty much all that goes on over there.
Simpsons memes.
We love it.
Yeah, pretty much. The Simpsons. I'm gonna be releasing some music soon. So I guess if you search Joe Fish Swimming on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever, you should be able to find it. It's probably not going to be anything out by the time that this airs, but you know, keep an eye out. Get on that pre-save shit. Besides that, yeah, just good media on Instagram, like Josh said, for updates on the show. And yeah, that's me.
Oh no, honestly, it was great, and thank you, Joe. I'm just like, even throughout this conversation, I'm just having flashbacks to when we met each other at that party, and I was like, "Oh wow, who's that cool guy in the dungarees?" I'm like, "Oh, he's an audio producer. Wow." Thank you so much.
It was meant to be, man. It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. Like, honestly, like. Even when I first met you guys in Salford Uni, I was like, "Oh my god, the outfits! Wow!" Like, I was like, "Oh, this guy's cool." Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. I have had a whirl of a time, and it's just been great to get some more context about what we do here and like fill in some background and stuff. My IG for the podcast is dm.talks. My IG normally is dm.sarah, and I don't think there's any other. We have a Twitter account. We have DM Talks on Twitter. Account. There is. I need to promo it more.
Oh yeah.
And maybe this is the fact that I actually no. The thing is, I've made a purpose of saying it now because now it's going to give me more motivation to actually say stuff on Twitter because like. We'll get into it in another episode of why I don't use Twitter. However, I'm going to use it for promo. And yeah, I'll plug that in.
Shout at people.
Yeah. I'm not, because that's a slippery slope.
It's just
that's the reason why I didn't have. That's the reason I don't have my old Twitter.
Well, yeah, because you have to see like several billion bad takes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just not okay. But thank you guys so much for listening. You can listen to us on all major podcast streaming platforms. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts. I think that's it.
Yeah, pretty much. YouTube, Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Is that it?
Wherever you get your podcasts. That's the
Wherever you get your podcasts.
Most people, will get their podcasts. If you want to listen for free, go on Anchor. If you already have Spotify, Apple Music, go on them. And if you want to watch, go on YouTube.
Exactly, because we've got beautiful faces and we have beautiful visuals, and yeah, you can appreciate all that stuff on YouTube. DM Talks. It's been amazing. We shall see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.